All right, here we are. About to start, about to get going. Let's switch over to my camera. All right, everybody. Let me just lower this volume on here. All right. Hello. This is Abe Duque coming to you from, my studio here in Hollis, Queens. We're here every Friday. I'm here every Friday at 1 p.m. Just meeting everybody on the interwebs, getting everybody together to talk about hardware. You know, I love hardware. And, discussing, having fun with it, talking all about it, answering your questions. I'm here with for 343 TV. This is 343 TV. We or 343 TV broadcasts every day at 1 p.m. And today is our day. I'm here with my counterpart, Thomas. Thomas, are you there? All right, let's get you in the screen there. Yeah, Thomas, tell us a little more about 343. With Yeah, she is. Yeah, it's a big show at Techno Tuesdays. Right. Who does those? Oh yeah, he is great. All right, yeah. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and I guess the like button as well. You can give us a like. That'd be nice. I heard we're trying to make 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Okay, that's a little bit off our mark there, but we got a lot of work to do. Oh, really? Let's see. Ray, you're not in. Sorry. You know what? You guess what? You got to do your whole spiel all over again,
All right, let
Thomas.
let us know if you can hear us on stream,
Thanks
or
for
hear
you
me more
guys.
specifically. But
Thank you.
thanks for
Oh,
letting
and
us
look, it
know.
was Max Wild who let us know that. I mean, from
Yeah,
time to time, it's a little hard to control all the magic that's happening at the same time as we're on here trying to be entertaining.
definitely.
Yeah, Max Wild. Thank you very much, Max Wild, for letting us know we can't hear Thomas.
Yep. So I was just mentioning there, this is 343 TV, hosted by 343 Labs, which is a music production school and community, originally based in Manhattan, New York, and we also have a bunch of online classes running, and we're super excited that we recently launched our second in-person location, which is in Berlin, Germany, which has been off to a great start. Have had some great classes running, a couple great master classes.
Yeah, I saw some
So
pictures. I saw some pictures from the some Berlin master classes or something.
yeah,
There's a lot
yeah,
of people there. It was great. It was felt like the good old days back here in New York.
yeah, that's for sure. And we're definitely hoping to get stuff like that going in New York when the time is right. But that brings me to a great point. We actually are going to be starting some in-person classes in the Manhattan space. They're going to be limited, socially distanced, but we do have those up on the site. So for any information regarding New York City classes or online classes, please head to 343labs.com. And if you're looking for Berlin specific information, that's going to be at 343labs.de. But other than that, I won't want to kill too much more time.
Well,
I'll let Abe,
let me
kind of
let me
dive
let you
into
go
it.
through once again. Just quickly go through what we do every week here, like Monday through Saturday.
Okay, yeah, because we did mention that. So we've got a whole lineup of shows for you guys. Right now, we're running 6 shows a week with some reruns on Sundays. So what we got on Mondays is going to be tips and tricks with dolltr, one of our great instructors, and that's an Ableton and Push focused show. It's going to be every Monday at 1, and that is followed by Techno Tuesdays with John Selway, a techno production focused show. He does a lot of cool stuff in Ableton and, using some hardware as well from time to time. On Wednesdays, we got the Logic Show with Lewis Beck, who is an amazingly talented producer and instructor here, and he does all sorts of different stuff with Logic, including all the new stuff with the 10.5 update. Thursdays, it's a busy day with two shows. We got Max Wild doing Theory Thursdays right at 1 p.m.
Yeah, it's
And
a big
then
day.
we also have TAETRO Talks later in the day, which is usually an interview show. Sometimes it's call in, and we get to talk to
What time does the TAETRO show go?
It actually fluctuates a little bit, but typically it's around 7 p.m.
Okay.
Depending on who the guest is, it can be moved around depending on their time zone. And then Fridays, we have one of my favorite shows, which is we're on now, Hardware Basics with Abe. Always fun to be a part of this. And then Saturdays, we've been more recently doing feedback sessions with Adam.
Right.
Atropolis is his, production name, but he's been, providing some super valuable feedback for anybody that wants to join in. That's just going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. and every Saturday going forward. So definitely don't want to miss that either.
Cool. Thanks for that. All right. I won't take any more time from our presentation here, from our hardware talk.
Gotcha.
And I'll just get right into what we're going to talk about. So this is a hardware show. I ask you guys every time to send in some questions. Ask away. I love hardware. Hardware is my life. I really got into hardware before I ever got into music. I really just like sound and making it with synthesizers and drum machines and whatever. And that has never gone away. As you maybe can tell behind me, there's like a whole slew of things back there. I will be just every week presenting some more of my hardware to you guys, kind of talking about it, loosely maybe working on this project here that we have been started the last few weeks, and see where it goes. So we do have, just to speak of, we have this project that we've been talking about, and here's the project. I want to play for you what we have so far. So we have a few parts, and all of these parts that we have actually recorded ourselves. So it's not it's nothing to do with the computer or any VST or anything like that. Although that's all great, but it's just the show is based on hardware. I rather just use the hardware for now. Let's just play it and see what we have so far. So we kind of can refresh our memories. Here we go. I think I might have solo on this track. Yeah, I do. Here we go. It's kind of quiet. Let's raise that. That 303 is kind of quiet. It might get louder later. That's this take right here, the 303. So let's rename that as it plays. It's always good to stay organized about these things. So it's getting louder, and you can see there's a lot of difference in the dynamic range here. As it comes up to the end, it's getting really loud, and there's a lot of stuff popping out there. So because of that, as it's playing, I'm gonna lower it a little bit so you can hear my voice. As it's playing, I'm gonna just grab a compressor, and I'm gonna do that from the box here. I'm just gonna grab let's do a glue compressor, because it'll compress and it'll add a little bit of fun to it. It'll make it all feel nice and good. So while it's playing, I'm gonna just lower that threshold a bit. Make sure it's in the right channel. Keep it maybe a little faster attack, and we'll leave the release where it is. And 4 is okay. Now, problem with the glue compressor is when you add too much of it, like it is right now, it starts to like really take the bottom and squeeze the sub out of it. But that's okay. Maybe this doesn't have to be our sub in our track. But it sounded pretty good so far. Let's get back. Let's go to the mixer side of things. Maybe we can mix it a little better. So let's see. Maybe the kick drum could come up a bit. And we're running out of headroom here, so bring all these parts down together so that we don't get in the red. Getting in the red is not very fun. It's clipping. Nobody likes clipping. And we're still a little bit lacking of headroom, especially now. So I'm going to, again, pull all these parts down together a bit. And I can make that louder on the mixer here. That kick is doing its thing. It's a little loud now, but okay, that gets us into a better spot. So we have nice parts. Let's just solo these parts quickly. It's this kick drum that we got from the 909. We got this part from the Mono Tribe. We took this from the Mofo, that Dave Smith's instrument part thingy. And let's go back a little over here. This hi-hats we took from the 909, and again, remember, if you do remember, we did actually make a pass with these hi-hats, so we recorded them organic, so they have a more organic feeling to it. So as you see, they're changing slightly, and that's one thing I recommend you guys to do when you're recording your hardware, is that you actually play your recorded hardware in as you're recording it. Not that you just, okay, I got a thing and I'm gonna just record it and then keep it. No, that you actually then tweak it as you don't have to go crazy tweaking it, but just even little minor tweaks could add so much flavor to what's going on in there, and then just bring it back and let you kind of listen to it in the mix, knowing now that it's been tweaked just slightly. You see that? Those are all little slight tweaks. Basically, when I was playing with it was the closed and open hi-hat decay, just opening and closing the decay more. And this gives a really nice, lovely, organic feeling to the hi-hats, almost as somebody was actually playing them, which I was. So there they are. Okay, so we'll get to in a bit. I want to maybe start processing these a bit more. I mean, we processed the 303 a little bit with some compression for now, to try to make it a little more uniform. As you can see, there's a lot of dynamic range here. We might have one compressor might not be enough. We might even have to do something like series compression to get this kind of working out for us. But let's go to what we have planned for today as far as what gear I've brought to play with. I feel like Mr. Rogers somehow bringing in some something to show the kids. All right, kids, here we are in Abe Duque's neighborhood back in Hollis, Queens. That's the hood really here in New York. And here's what I brought for you today. So here's a little bit of one of my Euro racks here, which I have filled with some lovely things in here. And there's I'll tell you what's in here. There's a Moog Mother 32 in here, and there's a Moog DFAM in here, and then there is a Joe Mox Mod Brain percussion module in here, and the VC8, 8 VCAs. There's a little bit to a device that'll help me connect with the MIDI. So it's like a MIDI clock device. And here there's a delay unit, or actually it does more than delay. It does reverb and delay. It's an Erica Synths Black Hole DSP. And then we have an Echophone, which is kind of like a space echo type device over here. And this is just a Vermona device that'll let me kind of bring everything together in 2 channels, so that I can kind of use it as a way to pipe it out to everything else. Ha! I see Cynthia Gonzalez is in the chat. Cynthia's my niece. Hey, Cynthia. Now I'm really nervous because my niece is watching me. Anyway, she grew up watching me play with all these devices and all this hardware, which is really funny to see her here in the chat. Who else is in the chat? TWD Industries doesn't disappoint, and Robot Harma, right? Inside the ride, he says, and TWD says, good afternoon to everybody, and then a bunch of other stuff. All right, so lots of stuff here to talk about, but today I just really want to talk about this guy. Now, I'm going to probably keep this on the desk for the next couple of shows or whatever, as we can move on to other parts, or maybe we can even do that today a bit, but I wanted to deal with this guy. This guy here, this is a Moog DFAM. I believe it to be my favorite of all the hardware units I've acquired in the last couple of years. Every so often, there's a piece that comes that I must have and that changes my life in a way. And I think one of the first ones that I can remember is when I bought my first TB303 in, I think it was like 92 or something like that, 91. I bought the TB303 that absolutely stayed with me and has been part of all my recordings till now. And then other things like the 808, the 909, and things of that sort have been very, very important machines for me. But and I love Moog stuff. I have a mini Moog Voyager over there, and I have this Moog Mother 32, which I like a lot as well. And I think we played with the Minotaur at one point, I think, in the show earlier on. But this thing here is such a crazy device. This is it's even hard to describe. That's how crazy it is. I guess you see what it's drummer from another mother is what it's DFAM, drummer from another mother, and the idea is a semi-modular analog percussion synthesizer. So it's not a drum machine and it's not really a synthesizer. You can't really play it. I mean, there probably is a way that you can patch it in so you can play notes with it, but you're not meant to play with it that way. You're meant to make percussion parts with it, and the way it's set up, there's nothing that I've heard in the past that has that has really come close to doing what this guy does. I always push this on all my students, and I see, Hugo's here, and Tim is here. Tim, I actually somehow twisted his arm to get one of these DFAMs because he asked me what I really liked, and then I explained it to him, and then I heard that pretty soon after that, he was sporting one of these up and down the street. Okay, so let's get to like actually playing with this thing. So what it is we have a couple of oscillators in here, and a noise generator. And what we have here is a step sequencer that we can work. One row meant for pitch, and the other row meant for velocity. So I can get different kind of dynamics in the parts that I create. Let's get that going. So I've got it kind of synced already with Ableton. So if I start Ableton, this thing should run. Now I have it muted now, and I have it also set up. So I think something's making noise, but I got to figure out what it is. It's not that. It's that one. So this is the DFAM already. This is a kind of a tom setup. I can open up the noise here, close the noise, open up the cutoff, shut the cutoff off. And as I tell all my students, use two hands. Let's use two hands to like just play with different parameters. And it just sounds so lovely, just the way it just does these really creates these amazing little parts that we can continuously edit and never end. It's like never ends. You could just play with this all day because everywhere it lands, it kind of just makes me happy. That's where I am right now. Well, that's pretty cool. I don't know how I got there, but I like that. I could do that if I want. I could do this if I want. I could do that if I want. Let's do that. Let's see how it works in our mix here. Let's add in everything else that we're playing with. Oh, look at that. It works. Actually sounds pretty cool. Yeah, Tim says I didn't have to twist his arm too hard. It's true, because this thing kind of twists your arm for me. The tweaking is just amazing. So I'm gonna just do since I like what's happening right now, and I'm happy I got really lucky with it. I'm going to go ahead and just have some crazy fun with it and record a pass. I'm going to record a pass. So I'm going to set up another track here, and got to make sure that this is ready to record. So let me just go to my preferences for a second. And I think I got to go to here in the universal audio preferences and just play this, so you can see where it's coming in on 15 and 16. Yeah. So it's coming in on 15 and 16. It's a little loud now on the input side of things. So I'm going to lower that. Stereo here, because one track is a little louder than the other. Like the left side needs to come up a little bit more. Oh no, the other side. Okay, that's good. That's gonna be good for now. So let me just, the way that I like to do this is, of course, doing a whole pass, but I like to start out with some sort of position where I can develop from. So if it's already fully open and I start recording it, I don't have nowhere to go with it. I could edit and cut out parts later, but I like to kind of close it off and make the decay shorter, or maybe close the filter so that I can open up a filter and open up the decay, and it kind of flowers out into this thing. So let's. Tim is asking, you can switch patterns by turning the lower row of 8 dials from low to high, or anything in between. Yeah, I could change that. Maybe I should. Maybe I will. But let's do one pass first, and then I'll do some crazy things, and I'll try a second pass. Because this is the fun part about recording hardware. There's no real commitment to what you're going to do. You're just going to have fun with it, capture a moment in time, and then use it in your recordings later. So, in your arrangement later. So let's just begin. So let me just find a good spot to. I'm gonna close that up like that. That's good. And I'm gonna close the decay, so it just sounds like a little kind of percussive element doing its thing. And I'm just gonna hit record. I'm gonna start again from the top. Hit record, and it's already doing its thing. So now I could just let that hang for a little while, and when I get inspired, I can start to turn the knobs. So here we go. Turn the cutoff. Let's open the decay a little bit on the VCA. VCA stands for voltage controlled amplifier. Close that off as I open it. Two hands, right? Two hands. Because I could do double the action, and the fun increases exponentially when you do that. Let that lie for a little bit. I gotta work with the other parts that are in there, right? I don't wanna. I wanna do the jamming thing. I don't really wanna step on the toes of any of the parts. Just gonna keep it kind of reined in a little bit. Maybe pull back a little bit, since things are getting a little more hectic in the rest of the track. Maybe a good chance to just really take a chance and do something different with everything. That's a dangerous one, but hey, let's go crazy. I gotta get back to tuning. There it is. And like, I could edit all these parts. I don't have to keep everything I'm doing. It's just a lot of fun. Add a little more noise to it. That's gonna sound great with some effects on it, like some delay or reverb even. Just a little bit here and there, and that's all. How about this? What is this gonna do? With a little bit of delay, all this will make a lot more sense. And I'm going to close it in and kind of end off where I started. So I have a full loop that I can kind of just let play. So I got that, a little ticky sort of thing going on. And that's done. Now I could have, and should have maybe recorded it right onto the arrangement view, but I'm going to just transfer it over, which is easy enough. And drop it in there. And then maybe call this the DFAM. And there we are. Okay, so we're just at about. Thomas actually has to leave very soon because he has to go handle some other business. But I wanted to give Thomas a little chance to come in here and talk to us before he did about. I don't know. Well, what is it you want to talk to us about, Thomas?
There's just a couple quick things I wanted to mention before I hop off. If you're enjoying the show, as always, please subscribe. We're shooting to get, the subscribers up. We're doing all this daily programming, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Also to share, the series with your friends, especially if you're interested in a particular show. We always love bringing new people in. And lastly, I just wanted to mention we have a couple great courses starting soon. This weekend we got a mixing course starting with Abe, and there's still space left to enroll in that. So if you're interested in that, just head over to 343labs.com. We also have an Ableton course starting tomorrow, beginner Ableton course for anybody who's looking to dive into Ableton and learn all about that. Like Abe is kind of demonstrating here. That's another great course. But other than that, just look out for those in-person courses in New York if you're interested in that. You can find all the details on the website as well. But other than that, I'm going to let Abe, take it back away. And sounds like you got a pretty sweet jam going here. So I'm curious to tune back in at a later time and check out how it goes.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. So yeah, let's get back into it. So yeah, Thomas was mentioning I do have a class, I think, starting tomorrow. It's a mixing and mastering class that begins tomorrow. That will be... I think class goes at 5 p.m. I'm not sure. I got to be sure, though. But yeah, tomorrow mixing and mastering begins. So if you're interested in that, jump in. Okay, let's get back to what we had now. I had recorded this stuff in here, and let's just refresh our memories. And as we do refresh our memories, I want to let's say, process it a little bit, and maybe other things as well. Let's see. Let's process the DFAM first. Well, let's let it play, and maybe we'll solo it a little bit as it's playing. So it's soloing there, and I'm gonna once again maybe grab that glue compressor. Now remember, the danger with the glue compressor is that if you do a little too much of it, it's gonna eat up the bottom end. But if it's not a necessary, like a sub part in your mix, it's not going to be such a big problem. Let me just jump to other areas where it's actually going. So nice going, but I like the way that it's tightening it all up there. Let's go up here, and let me mute the other one. I had both of them going at the same time. Yeah, I'm going to do something real fun with this, and I suggest this to a lot of people. I think I suggested this to Hugo recently, which is I'm going to use another compressor now, but this time I'm going to use it to do some sidechain to the kick. And since we only have like one kick going, I'm going to copy this kick, make a double here, and I'm going to let this one run all the time. And that copy is going to become my ghost kick. So let me just take that out of the mix, and I'm going to add a little bit of sidechain compression to this. So for those that don't know, sidechain compression is basically making the compressor crazy. It's basically outsourcing the trigger of the compressor. Normally the compressor triggers upon listening to the sound coming into it, and then compresses it, accordingly. In the case of a sidechain, it's going to compress a sound based on what some other sound is doing. So we'll turn on the sidechain and get that going with the kick. This is our ghost kick, and I should actually name it ghost kick. That way I know that it's my ghost kick. So I'll rename that ghost kick. And the reason to have a ghost kick is that if a kick drops out like it does here, you don't want the ghost action to drop out necessarily. So let's see what that does for our DFAM. Let's see if it makes it any more interesting. I like to increase the ratio to infinity and then use the threshold. So you can see it's kind of making it pump now. See that right there? It's kind of straight. This way it's kind of doing this little pump on there. And if I unsolo it, and I'll show you the difference. So it's kind of just doing its own thing. Now it's kind of jumping and doing its thing inside the mix. Close it up again. Let's go over here where it's open again really wide. Okay, so in the case of there's so much dynamic range difference between some of the stuff here and here, I might have to split these up and like lower the volumes and to like take some pressure off of what the compressor's having to do. Probably better for that because don't want to give too much to the compressor, because then at times it'll be compressing so much it'll be changing the sound when I could just lower it and to get them. So the great thing about having DAWs is that you can actually come in here and split things and then make things either louder or quieter to kind of match the rest of the material that's happening in there. So see between here and here there's some disparity, and I guess it ends right around there, and I'll just pick that up a little bit. And then this one here seems to be the one that's most loud, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit there. So trying to get a kind of a uniformity here going. So then now when it goes between here and here, it won't be so off-putting, or at least the compressor won't have to be going too nuts. All right, so now let's process it further. Let's add a little bit of reverb or delay. I have these guys sitting in here that I've been using in here. Might as well use those parts for in there. So let's get that. Let's see what happens with just a little bit of something. Let's see, a little cathedral. Wow, that changes the game already. Not that it's a perfect selection. It just gives another dimension immediately to what actually is going on. Let's try another one of these. This is just a delay. It's kind of a ping pong delay setup that I have going here. That's okay. I guess as it changes more, things will be bouncing left and right a little bit more. Let's try this Dub Syndicate one. Well, that's sick. That's an echo device, which is kind of creating this kind of space echoey sort of situation where I could raise the feedback. I could automate this feedback to get things like that going on. This is really cool. Maybe I'll do that. You know what? I'm just going to create a pass of doing that. Why not? I'm just going to record a pass of the feedback on the Dub Syndicate. I'm going to keep that there. And this guy should be playing right now. Let's see why it's not. Oh, it's coming in now. Oh, no. Made a mistake. I had the record button on. That means it was recording over it. So let's not do that. Well, let's keep the record button on. Well, we don't have to, but we could do the overdub thing so that we can, well, let's just keep the recording button on because it's going to record over it. That's for MIDI. So let's go ahead and do that again. Now it's there, and I can now play with the feedback. Let's do a little bit now already. I'm just taking my mouse, and I should have put this on a knob to keep it analog, but why not? It's just kind of, I like the fiddle, like going up and down a little bit, make it feel like, oh yeah, something's coming. No, it's not. Maybe a little bit of this is coming. No, it's not. Maybe it's all gone now, and all you get is just the reverb part of it, or mostly that. Lower that a little bit, let a little bit of time pass, and maybe grab a bigger part in there when I feel the moment is right, like now. That was good. I'll keep that. Remember, you can edit all these things, so it's just about having fun. And then later, let's do it again. Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun. Gotta be careful with that. You can get a little, it gets dangerous with the feedback. Maybe I should have done that there. When the break came. Whoa, danger. I'm gonna be able to edit that later, and let's just go and show you what's happening here. There's an actual, so I can look at the automation that I've been doing here. Dub Syndicate. So if I do that, okay, so I'm gonna stop everything and then look for my Dub Syndicate. And where are my automation lanes? I should have an automation lane for this thing kind of appearing there. And it's not right now, but it should be. Oh, it's because I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. I should be at this part here. And there's the automation lane that we created. So a lot of these went a little too crazy, especially the last ones. So I can just immediately, I know where I want them, so I can immediately like trim them a bit. If you hold down the option key, actually, sorry, the command key, you can actually get these to be kind of fine. If not, it snaps to the grid. If I do that, it snaps to the grid, which is not what I want. And this one was a little too much too. Oh, made the same mistake again. So hold on the option. Oh, once again, command key, and then I could trim the tops off of these a little bit. So let's see what that sounds like there. Still a little bit, maybe too much. So I think all of these are going to be a little too much. So I'm just going to trim it off a little bit. I love automation. Okay, so just trying to give you an example of what's going to be happening here. Now, that was one take. Let's say and usually when I make a take that I really like and I really kind of work on and try to make sound good, and put some effort into like preparing it. After I make that take and I'm satisfied with having that take, first of all, I want to save it, so I hit Command S. But the next thing is that I want to kind of just take a second take that's just lets me go crazy with it. Sorry, I'm just losing the spot here. So let me just get the overhead back in here, and I kind of move the camera out of the right place here. Just kind of setting this camera up again. There we go. And yeah, there it is. Well, basically. Oh, that'll work. That'll work for now. So as I was saying, I'm going to make another take. I'm going to record another take that has actually, well, I don't know, me going a little more nuts on it. So I'll do that on another channel. And that way, I'll change the color there. And then maybe I'll mute the one that's just been recorded just to not have it, interfere with my new recording. And I'll start wherever it is, and I'll just get nuts with it and just record a whole big take of whatever. And this time I'm going to record right onto the arrangement. So this new track that's on here will be recording right onto the arrangement. I need to erase what was there because I just duplicated the track in order to get this going. So let me just delete that. All right, so got that, and let's record. So hopefully we can get that going. And I'll do what Tim suggested earlier, which is change the bottom row to get different, and even the top rows to get just a different thing going on here. You'll notice it more when I open up the decay and the reverb, and I'm really just getting nuts here and just getting ready to record. I'm just going to record now, and I'm just going to turn these knobs. Now whatever I catch, I'm going to be able to kind of edit later, so I don't have to keep anything in particular that doesn't come out good or doesn't sound palatable. And take it a little more in a different direction. I just want to give you an idea of where this can go if you really let it. Again, I'm just not worrying about the recording. I'm only just trying to capture me playing with this. Whoa, that was crazy. Alright, I got some nice high frequency stuff going on now. I could change the tempo with this guy here, so let's see if it happens when it goes super fast. Whoa, too fast. That's better. Okay, I kind of like that. I'm going to keep that for a little bit, and then I'm just going to hit stop to the recording. I'm going to take this clip and trim it to the end parts because that's all that really kind of wanted to keep. Now, the fact that I recorded all that stuff at the beginning doesn't matter. It's actually good that I recorded all that stuff because it allowed me to land where I wanted to land without like thinking, okay, now I'll hit record. It's already recording, so I'm just going to set this up as a loop here. Turn this looping on, and then I can crop it, and hopefully I got the right part cropped. And then pull it across and see what that sounds like there. So That's this guy here. Oh, looping has to go on. And I'll pull that across. That's pretty cool. Now it's going through the same sidechain and compressor already. So play it without the sidechain. That sidechain does make a big difference. Now you play with the attack and the decay, and you can get the feeling of it to change. I mean the attack and the release, not the decay. With this, I'm going to create something called the Haas effect. I'm going to jump in here and drop a delay where I'm going to make it so that the left and the right side appear at different times. So I'll turn this is the channels here. I'm going to change this to time and change one to, let's turn that one off because actually that's what we were hearing. We were still hearing the one from the DFAM. I better make this a little louder. It's a little hard to hear this now. Just increase the level on this. Okay, too much. Okay, let's get this a little bit different, left and right. Let's sync those again. I don't want this send here either, so I'll delete the automation. Oh, there's no automation on there. I just don't want it going to the to that. So now it sounds kind of bigger because of this Haas effect that I set up here with the delay, which is basically setting up left and right to have a little bit of a time divergence. So it's like a little bit different timing from left and right. So you hear it now. You hear how it's a little bit kind of sounds to me a little bit on the sides. It is totally on the sides now. Let's take that and add a little bit of reverb to it altogether. And bring the other part back. Okay, so now we've got tons of parts in here. Now maybe getting to the point where it might be too many parts going on. That's okay. That's fine. We can always cut them out, and we probably will have to. Because it's one of the things that I preach in my classes is that too many parts do end up kind of giving you diminishing returns after a while. It's like there's a certain amount of parts that's great, but then after that, it becomes something that can't that just eats up all the spaces. So you got to think of the frequency spectrum as like available spots that you could place things in, and if you have a lot of elements in the frequency spectrum, then you got to find spots for all those things to be. And when it's so crowded like that, it tends to sound crowded and to sound less pleasing even. So when we could take the frequency spectrum and add spots strategically to places that they need to be, or things to the spectrum where they need to be, like low end in the bottom and maybe high end in the top, just something to cover the low end, something to cover the high end, something to cover the mids, and keep it sparse, everything becomes really, really easy and definable, and no muddiness is occurring. When you have lots of things coming together, that's when you have to figure out how you're going to make it all work. So yeah, I'm going to have to, as we move forward, going to have to kind of figure out what to take out and what to keep in the whole thing. All right, I've been going a while here. Let's see what's yeah, Max is telling me to break it. I will, Max. I think I did earlier. I think that was when the recording, when I was making the recording, and it just went a little bit too crazy. again, I'm sorry for any kind of mistakes in the technique here. It's a little bit hard to like run this stream, and Max, I mean not Max, but Thomas left me, so I'm here all by myself, and I got to do all the technical stuff, and also do the stream, and also keep you guys entertained. So again, this we do every Friday. It's at 1 p.m. We call it basics, hardware basics at this point with Abe Duque, and we'll be talking all that is hardware for now. Maybe we'll expand that at another date to include other topics. But as I'm keep on asking you guys is to send in your questions if you have any things that you want me to particularly cover, or any techniques, or any styles even that you want me to cover. I will be more than happy to do what I can for you when it comes to that. So let's get back to my setup here, and let's look at my overhead. Oh, that's not the overhead. That is the, oh, look, I lost the overhead altogether. That was something else. That was actually my end movie that I was gonna. So last time it happened to us, at about the same time where I lost the 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 actual overhead going into on my camera. So I'm trying to, maybe it was when I tried to adjust it. I'm going to try to readjust my camera again and see if I can get that going. If not, we'll be in a good place, because it's anyway coming towards the end of the show, and I don't have to show you more gear. I did want to show you more gear though, or at least talk about some of the other things that are in here and how we could work these together with the DFAM. Let's see if we actually get that going. I got a little spinning wheel now. Let's see. Let's go to the overhead, and nope, it just shows me my Ableton screen, which is fine for now. But we'll have to deal with that for next week. Okay. Let's see what we can do now. Let's. I wanted to deal with the kick drum a little bit, because the kick drum is awesome as 909s are. But I wanted to process this a little bit just to kind of add some beef to it. And it's a great kick drum. I mean, when you get 909s involved, it's always a very nice thing to listen to. It works really nicely. It forever has been the go-to kick drum for house and techno, especially in the 90s. All that 90s house and techno was done with the 909. But however, there are modern kind of innovations that have happened that have changed things and made them a little more, I guess, bassier, because the bass quotient in most of the tracks that we have these days is a lot more than they ever were back when I started. Hold on. Tim says we can see a split screen with you on one side and the hardware on the left. Oh, look at that. How did that happen? Okay, that's interesting. Well, let's see if that'll go to hardware. Yeah, it's my camera's got all screwy. But anyway, we're in this topic here where you could see my split screen, I guess, with that. However, let's just go there. That's better. I wanted to process this kick a little bit, and I wanted to use a little magic device that I like to sometimes pull out in my mixing classes, and that's going to be this super cool processor for low end, which is an EQ, but the weirdest EQ you'll ever run into. It's been around forever. It's the Pultec EQ. It's basically an EQ you can't read. You can't take any frequencies out. You could only boost, but boosting with this also allows you to compress at the same time. So you kind of can compress what you boost. So you get this kind of caricature of the low end, this really super squeezed together low end bottom that actually kind of blends together with what you have already to create this, something you can't do with a normal EQ. So let's just get that going and get some real bottom on there. So let's get that kick going, and I'll show you what I mean. Right now we're set at 30 hertz, and let's pump that. And the cool thing is that I could compress it as I pump it, so it doesn't overwhelm. And now you think, oh yeah, that sounds great. That's awesome. But now you go back to trying to remember what you had before, and you realize, wow, I was really happy about this at one point. And we could even do other frequencies. We could try 20, which is really low. I usually don't go 20 only on special occasions, but we could do 60, which is also very nice for a kick. Look at that. Look at that. I was so happy about that at one point. And now this is, much more. Now, I'm exaggerating now just to kind of give you guys the idea of what's going on. I will for sure pull back on this. I won't use it that much. You can't be greedy with these things. You sort of have to kind of keep them, you gotta use them frugally, if anything. Because even then, when it didn't sound as good as or as deep as when it was over here. It does sound a lot better than this. Okay, so let's add a little more. Let's try 100, see what happens. So that's 100 hertz. That's 60 hertz. Let's get back in there. That's 60 hertz. That's 30 hertz. Which really gives that real bottom to it. It's all it does is gives that real bottom. Let's just keep that real bottom. There's another one that's kind of a low-pitched one that I have here. Let's see what happens there. Now that's crazy. That was that, and now that became that. Now you could boost kind of the top end on it, because there's a top end boost over here, and I could choose the frequencies here to boost on the top end, if that makes any sense. Maybe a little bit of that, just to give it a little detail on the top. And let's go back here, and let's A/B that. Oh man, I was so happy about this kick at one point. And now, with that becomes real legit. So now we're in the mix. And now we feel modern and in the mix at the same time. Super cool. All right, I think we're running out of time for today. I'm very happy you guys joined me and stuck around for this hour of discussing hardware. Next week, Thomas will be here, and he'll be able to hang throughout the whole show, so I can go have a back and forth with Thomas about things. And he usually brings in the questions, so maybe next week he'll bring in all the questions, and we could discuss your questions. And once again, if there's something you want me to talk about, if something you want me to cover, if something you want me to clear up for you, if there's a piece of gear that you have in mind that you maybe want to acquire and you want to know my opinion, please run that by us. And here, I am here every Friday at 1 p.m. And 343 TV is also broadcasting every other day at 1 p.m., including Sundays where we do a rerun show of all the week. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. And don't forget to sign up for some classes. All right. I'll sign off now, and I'm going to leave you guys every week for the last, 7 weeks. I've been giving you the same little live set that I did with this Eurorack. I'm going to play a video now of me doing a live set without the Eurorack, with actually actual standalone gear. You'll see. Hopefully you enjoy it. But again, I'll see you guys next week.